Alright guys, welcome back to the channel guys. I have my AC gauges here. Y'all can see this is a PT Cruiser. What I'm about to do now, I'm about to try and simulate, not so much simulate, but I want to go over some diagnostic tests of the air conditioning system. Okay, now it's going to be, I'm going to try to mimic or explain the best way I know how. It's going to be hard to do because actually this AC is working. Okay, but I want to go over a few things. For those of you that your AC is not working and you kind of lost, I'm going to go over some cheat steps you can do um, to help find out why your AC not working. Now, keep in mind, I do not know anyone's skill level at all. So what I'm saying, I'm gonna try to keep it basic as possible. Okay. Now, first things first, guys. One tool you will need. It's not so much the tool. You just will need to know what the readings are on the low side port and the high side port. Also, keep in mind. Now, this is a '06, I think, model PT Cruiser. This is second generation, and actually, in fact, I think they're the same on first generation and a second generation. What I'm referring to is a high pressure port, guys. It is way down there on this car, so I haven't started this car up and ran it. And on top of that, before I do, I will connect my high side port up to that fitting before I even start the car. I do not want it to get hot and then have to try and fight my way down there to get this connection attached. Okay, now if I was in the shop, I wouldn't fight at all. I would merely take this cover off and this bracket or this brace right here off, and that'd give me an easier shot down there. But I'm not at the shop, so I don't have tools to take this off, so I'm gonna have to do it the old traditional way. So before you can even start this what I want to call this is I don't know, simulate. I'm gonna try to simulate a car with no AC, even though this one is working. So basically I'm gonna cover over some steps you can take to find out why your AC is not blowing cold. All right, so before I do anything, guys, let me see if I can fish, and you even have the cap on it. So let me reach down there. Car hasn't been ran in a while, so it's not hot at all. So what I'm gonna do is reach down here, remove the cap, and try and get my gauges hooked, at least the high side port. Some guys, even I find myself doing this, merely only hook up the low side. But when you diagnosing, you have to know what the high side pressure is. And it's so tight down there, I couldn't even bring the cap up, but I did manage to get it off. All right, so I'm gonna get this connected, and we're gonna go from there, guys. Oh wow, I'm already up to 3 minutes. I don't like them real long videos, so what I'm gonna do is go to an ad break real quick. When I get back, we should start diagnosis then. All right, guys, so stay with me, don't go anywhere. I will be right back. All right, guys, so I couldn't I had to end up removing this bracket or part of it just to get that high side connected. But I do have the high side connected. So what I'm gonna do is hook the low side up. Okay guys, take a look at these readings. Take a look at these gauges. As you can see, I have about 70 on the low side and about 75, about 70, they even. Okay, now what I was saying earlier about even pressures on the same side, either your compressor is not on or it's not working. Okay, so even if it's on, even if you see the clutch running down there, okay, and you have the exact same pressures on each side, you likely have something internal to the compressor going on. Okay, but that's not the case here. I just merely do not have the AC on. I do not have AC request. So let me go in and turn the AC button on, and then we're gonna look at pressure from there. Okay, AC is now requested, okay, by the driver, meaning me. All right, now let's take a look at pressure. As you can see, my low side went down, and my high side is right at 130. Those are real good readings, guys. In fact, let's see if the AC is cold. Okay, you can merely grab the lines right here to tell if they're cold or not. If they are cold, you're likely getting cold AC inside the car. Okay, now we got to play hypotheticals here because I don't have a car that's not working. All right, we can assume three things. All right, one, the compressor is on, the clutch is spinning, the clutch is doing its job, the compressor is doing its job. Number two, we can assume the cooling fan is on. Okay, number one, I can hear it running, and number two, I would have extremely high pressure over here if my cooling fan was not on. So if you testing your AC system and you see high pressure on the high side, one of two things: there's a restriction, or there is not airflow blowing through the condenser. Okay, that is bad. All right, you don't want that. But because my readings are such, I have to cancel both of those out. Number one, again, I can hear the fan running. Okay, now restrictions. You could have a restriction. Again, you shouldn't suggest, or you shouldn't think about restriction unless you had extremely high side pressure. Okay, now that varies from car to car, depending on if your car equipped with a expansion valve or an orifice tube. They merely do the same thing, okay, but this particular car is equipped with an orifice tube, and it is inside of the liquid line. You cannot replace it separately. All right, so for you guys that don't have AC, I'll use my man Gary's car for an example. Okay, he went out and verified the clutch is on, the compressor is spinning. My man, you can eliminate at least the electrical side. Okay, you can eliminate the electrical side because your clutch is running. That indicates that the circuit is complete. From the moment you touch that AC request button, the 12 volts have traveled throughout the system and made its way to the compressor. I'm talking, you can eliminate low pressure cutoff switch, high pressure. All of those circuits are closed, again, because the clutch is running. Okay, now only thing left is the plumbing side. We just verified the electrical side is good. Even the tip-em, all of that stuff is good. Okay, the only thing left is the plumbing side. Now, my man, here's what we need to do for a car like if you're in this predicament. Okay, now let me take the phone down. Let me take the camera down so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Okay, for you guys that's in the predicament of the clutch is running. Y'all see that clutch running? It comes off and comes on. That means it's cycling. That means it's like, you see it's on now. That means the cycling switch is doing its job. Okay, so for you guys that don't have any gauges, you're almost forced to find out what the pressure reading. Or here's another option here, guys. Okay, now we all know, or we all can easily verify what your particular car you're working on holds. This car holds 1.1 pound of Freon. Okay, let's do it like this, because your compressor can be on and you simply not have enough Freon in it. If you suspect that being the case, why don't you do this? Grab you another can, or grab your can of Freon. You likely have enough in there to close the circuit or close the contacts in the low pressure cutoff switch or the high pressure cutoff switch. Okay, because your clutch is running. Now, again, you can simply be low on Freon. So, guys, these are $5 at Walmart. I mean, surely you can gamble with $5. Now, you will need some type of tool to get it in there in the low pressure port. Okay, now that is one option. Merely add another can of Freon. You're not going to hurt it. Now, what do we have here? How much is this can? 12 ounces. There's 16 ounces to 1 pound of Freon. The car take 1 pound of Freon, 1.1. Okay, let's assume you have 8 quarts or 8 ounces inside already, or 6 ounces. Go ahead and put another can in there. That's extra 12 ounces. And if you suspect it being more, just cut it off when you get toward the end. Okay, because you don't want it to be overfilled, you don't want it to be underfilled. But you have no way, because you have no scale or no gauges. Or here's another option: simply drain everything out and go back in with a can and a half of Freon. That's not always an option. Again, you're only gambling with maybe $10 and the tool that you would use to put it in. I don't know what tool you have, but guys, if those are the only option left, I say go for it. Or simply, if you take it to the shop, they're gonna do the exact same thing I'm doing. They're gonna verify pressure. They should eliminate it being an electrical problem because your fan is on and your clutch is on. If your fan is not on, you're not gonna get cold AC, guys. You gotta have the airflow flowing through the condenser. Also, the condenser has to be free of debris. It actually has to be free. Air has to be sucking through there. Now, if you had a restricted condenser, if you suspected a restricted condenser, you will have extremely high pressure on the high side. Okay, so all of that has been verified, and that's not the case. According to my gauges, I have no restriction. Okay, but guys, over the winter season, I mean, a lot can happen. I mean, your system could get clogged up. Any dirt that was inside your AC system can finally clog up an orifice tube. Orifice tube is, wow, see, you see this moisture on this line? That's cold. So this is cold AC. Orifice tube is merely the liquid line. You go from the condenser, I can't see down in there. But if you go to the parts store and get a liquid line and get you 2 cans of Freon, replace that liquid line, fill up your AC system. Hopefully you find a way to evacuate because you want to pull all the moisture out. Guys, your AC almost have no choice but to work. Okay? It has no choice. And from my experience, and I have a lot working on these cars, that's merely all there is wrong with AC system on let's say a PT Cruiser. Okay, if you, again, this is under the assumption you're not dealing with any kind of leaks. I'm not dealing with leaks here. My system is full. My system was full when I hooked up my gauges. The high side port gonna be extremely difficult to get to, guys. I couldn't even get this off. I don't have my tools from the job, so I had to bend this back a little bit just to get my high side gauge attached. All right, so now that I have it attached, I can see my readings. And my readings are good. This AC is cold. But hypothetically, if your AC is not cold, guys, you may need something as simple as an orifice tube, a liquid line, and go back in with the proper amount of Freon. Okay, because you already verified your electrical portion is operating as designed. All right, I don't want this video to be long. This car is over here. I got to check something else out, but I figure I'll run through a crash course of AC. Now, again, I don't know you guys' mechanical skill level. This AC liquid line is not easy, guys, and it's not hard. Once you remove this, everything is right there. So if you have any kind of background working on cars, you should be able to pull that off, and it attaches up to here. Okay, so fairly easy. In fact, you will get a new Schrader valve. Sometimes these Schrader valves leak. That liquid line will come complete with this. All right, and it just routes under there, bolts to your condenser, and there you have it. Of course, you will have to drain any Freon in it that you have out. So merely go back in with a can and a half of Freon, and voila, your AC should be cold. Guys, I have to run. That's all I have. Thanks for watching, man. Comment and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next video.